Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have another video for you in the American line, the Tier 10 medium, the M48 Patton. As always, we will have a complete guide. We're going to look at the tech spec first, and we're going to use blitzhanger.com to do that. Now, I believe that the M48 and the M46 before it are underrated tanks. They are not the most played. The Russian, for example, mediums are usually played more. But I think this is a great tank, and it played well. It can really be really effective. I would recommend firstly using Coca-Cola, because that gets the view range up to 313 meters, which is one of the best in tier, and that's extremely important when you're spotting. And this is a very good medium tank for spotting. 105mm gun is good. 6.5 second reload is pretty good too. You can see here you've got 250mm of pen on normal rounds, 300mm of pen in your Pramo, which is heat. I would also use supercharge for the gun to increase the muzzle velocity up to 1921 meters per second, which is really good. It's one of the best in tiers, and this is extremely important if you're sniping, because you're going to make the gun more accurate, and you're going to have a better chance of penning from distance. 9 degrees of gun depression is excellent, and along with the gun mantle, it gives this tank a really good hull down option. It's very, very good in this position. Power to weight ratio in this tank sucks. This is the case for all American medium tanks. As you've gone up from the Pershing to the M46 to this, if you play the Super Pershing, the premium tier 8, the power to weight ratio is terrible, so it's very slow from a standstill. It's fast once it gets going, but it's slow from a stop start, and that's a difficulty if you're trying to get out of somewhere quickly, trying to get yourself out of trouble. Now you can see here, looking at the mantle and the turret, very tough to pen, and the mantle of course is impenetrable, and the turret has pretty good decent armor, and with that 9 degrees of gun depression you can get yourself onto a hill, pop the turret over, fire down, and you can be very, very effective in that. So this is one tactic that should be used with this tank. Looking at the back and the sides, you can see there's virtually no armor, and therefore run 2 repair kits, because if you get tracked in this thing out in the open, you're playing against tier 9, tier 10 tanks, the biggest guns in Blitz. You're going to be penned by HE, and you could even be single shotted by a number of tanks in it. You've got the Yagaroo, you've got the Death Star, you've got the Grill, big guns waiting to gobble you up for breakfast. So be careful with that, don't get permatracked. Tactics, it says here peekaboo, it's pretty good. Hit run, it's actually not so bad. Long range sniping, it's good, especially if you use muzzle velocity. It's a very decent brawler, circle of death and brawling. It's good, it's maneuverable, has a little bit of arm on the front too, so you will bounce some shots on it. Particularly if you keep moving and creating angles with that armor, and as we said, going hull down is one of the most effective tactics in this. Now what I like to do in this tank is, because it has that 313 meter view range, is one of the best in Blitz at tier 10. It means that you can actually go out, spot and scout for your team, and play medium, almost like a light tank tactics. So what I do here in this game, it's supremacy, it's dead rail, check setup, and I'm going to go to C, spot it out, scout it out, see what we can find. Also, because I'm going into hilly terrain, it means that I can use the hull down tactics if the opportunity arises. This is spotting 101, so basically just scout the base out, don't drive directly into it. That is a rookie mistake. You want to spot it up, see who's there, and remain in cover. I took a shot there, but it's kind of sloppy play for me, I have to say. Also tried to pen the Object 140 on his turret, which is not going to work unless I'm firing Pramo. So kind of bit of sloppy play there to start, but I corrected, and actually this ends up as a mastery game. So another lesson as well for those of you who are not so experienced. Even if you don't start the game well, make some stupid mistakes or some sloppy play as I did there, you can always rectify it. Keep calm, keep your cool, and just do the basics, get it right, help your team. Now it's safe to cap now, so I'm going to get some additional XP for capping. There's 2 tanks there taking on that E50M. That's why I actually decided not to go in, because we're actually just going to get in each other's way, so it's better to keep leave them with free fields of fire. Too many cooks can spoil the broth, and very often you see in games, particularly if there's a melee and people are trying to dogpile one of the opposition, they get in each other's way, they block each other's shots. And the problem with that is that every shot that you block on an enemy tank is a shot you could be putting somewhere else. So effectively you're depriving your team of all of your all of your firepower. So just be careful. So that's why I left it and left those guys have clear fields of fire into the E50M and clear them off. It gives a bit more efficient, and then I was able to cap as well, so benefiting the team rather than just piling in and everybody getting in everybody's way. You can see here what I mean about using that extra muzzle velocity. Here we look at the instant replay. Just look at how good the gun is when you use that extra muzzle velocity, almost 2,000 meters per second. You also see how effective it is in reverse. The shot then from the red player missed. I was able to pull back and let it, his shot flew by. He also probably doesn't have muzzle velocity loaded up. He probably doesn't have supercharge used to get the muzzle velocity up, and that is the danger when you don't use supercharge. Your shell fires much slower, and you always therefore have a better chance of missing, which of course we don't want to do in this game. Another kill here, and now we're going over. We're going to take on this object. As I said, it is a decent brawler, and you'd see here we kind of do a half brawl, half circle death job on this object. We get him on the side here, and now we're going to try to drive past his gun, but I actually take one. I was trying to maneuver out of the way, but I have the hit points. I conserve my hit points, so I just could afford to take one. Now the object 140 here, he goes the wrong side. He should have gone the other side, and then you see exactly what I mean about getting in your ally's way. You see the guy there, you know, he should have gone the other side of that tank. He should have gone both sides. Instead he comes the same side as me. It means I can't maneuver as well as I wanted to do. I could have taken another hit, and also it means that we're getting each other's line of fire. So just a lesson there. But the object had a good game, but you know, that was a slight mistake in his. He wasn't really thinking too much, but of course the game was won, so we can forgive him that. But really think about your tank positioning vis-a-vis the enemy, but also vis-a-vis your allies. You really don't want to be getting in their way, stopping them maneuvering as they need to do. So have a bit of awareness about your teammates. Always helps. It makes you a better player. So you see mastery game, over 4.6k of damage, 2 kills, a lot of XP for spotting up though as well. And we can see here that actually the object had a mastery game as well, so double mastery in that. Oh, actually didn't. He had a first class. I thought he had a mastery. You can see there in the XP I did really well on the XP, and that's for the spotting and for the base capture. See here, spotted up the object, spotted up the E150, spotted up the FV 215, damage on the Patton, damage on the object, spotted them up as well, and damage on the E100. So overall good game contribution there. And we see here I got the Confederate badge, which I think is extremely important when you are a medium tank. It shows that you're really being a team player and doing the right things for your team. So there you go, pretty good game I thought, and a good demonstration of how effective the M48 Patton, the beast with that camo, can be. Now let's have a recap. This is a good medium tank. It's not the best in class, of course. I prefer the Russians. I think the Russian mediums are better, maybe E50M too, but it is definitely a decent medium tank. Has some armor too, has a decent gun, so it can perform. The 105mm gun has 250mm of AP on pen on the normal rounds, and 300mm on the Pramo rounds, and you will need Pramos for some of those big heavy tanks. It's slow from stop start though, right? Feels clunky, as do all American mediums, and that's because the power to weight ratio sucks, and the power to weight ratio basically determines how quickly the tank can accelerate. So it's fast when it gets going, but it takes time to get there. It's a hull down master though. That gun depression and turret really lends itself to that tactic. I would use Coca-Cola to get that 313 meter of view range, which is really good and makes it a really good spotting vehicle then. You can use your cover, poke out that barrel, and you can get a lot of XP for spotting up and do your team a lot of favors. It's a decent brawler. The armor and gun allow it to be decent. The reload 6.5 seconds also helps. And remember though, it is slow from a stop start, so you do need to be aware of that. You're not going to get away fast. You wouldn't be robbing a bank in this. It's not a getaway car. But used well, it can perform as you saw in that game, but just be aware of its limitations. Like all tanks, it does have some limitations. It's not OP, but once you're aware of those, you can play it very well. So cheers Mush, thanks for watching. Music was Vivaldi, oboe in D minor. Hope you enjoyed it. Oboe concerto in D minor. Hope you enjoyed that too. Okay, take care. Armored Pants out, and I guess all remains for me to say is pants off.